Hello, first-time homebuyer. Got a question for you. How many homes have you bought? None? Okay. You shouldn't know what you're doing, and that's totally fine. This is a safe place to be able to come and ask questions, not feel dumb. There's no such thing as a dumb question. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. All you need is a great lender and a great realtor, and you can buy a home. I've created this playlist for you so that you can have more certainty and confidence moving forward. But really, all you need is a great realtor and a great lender, and they'll walk you through the whole process. I'm Stacey the Loan Lady, and I would be honored to be your lender as you buy a home. This video, we're going to go through and kind of go through the overarching themes and what's going to happen for an entire home purchase. So let's get into it. All right, number one, we already talked about. Choose your professionals. Choose a great realtor and choose a great loan officer. We can talk about how to choose that, but you are going to want to do that before going out and looking at homes. And it is never too early to start talking to a loan officer. One of the first things to do with a loan officer is to get pre-qualified. So when you get pre-qualified, for me, you fill out my Quickstart Questionnaire, which is how I send you a one-size-fits-loan-one analysis without pulling credit, without getting documentation. The pre-qualification is based on what you're telling me. This is what a home purchase would look like. There is so much generic information out there on the internet, which is great. And unless you're talking to a loan officer that knows your loan situation, some of it doesn't really apply. And so that's why I always say that's the first step, is to get pre-qualified so you can kind of know, and your loan officer can tell you specifics that are specific to your situation based on your information. Now, the other thing that I like to do is submit my loan as a to be determined. I call it my Sundance Certain loan, where we actually submit the loan as a to be determined loan. So we get a full loan application. So this is after you've been pre-qualified when you want to move forward. You get out a full loan application, which includes birthday, social security numbers. My Quick Start Questionnaire doesn't have any of those. I can't pull credit because I literally don't have the information with the Quick Start Questionnaire. So when you've decided to move forward, then we submit it as a Sundance Certain loan. We get a full loan application. We get your pay stubs. We get your W-2s. And we run it through the computer underwriting system. And we can even run it through the human underwriter who will be assigned to your file. This makes your offer stronger because when you go and put an offer in on a home, I can let the listing agent know, so the agent who is representing the people selling the home, hey, we have submitted this loan as a to be determined. We have pulled credit. We have done this. We have done that. All we need is a home under contract and an appraisal. And listing agents love to hear that, and so do sellers. So that's something that you're not going to see other places that I can do for you. But yeah, it makes your offer a lot stronger. So once you've been pre-qualified and even a full pre-approval, the next step is to go house hunting. Your realtor is going to have a lot more to say about house hunting. I just cheer you on from the sideline. Your realtor is going to be the one who does negotiations, talks to the listing agent, says, hey, this home has been on the market for this long. This is how much negotiation pattern or power that we have. So your realtor is going to be the best person to talk to when it goes to house hunting. And when people think about buying a house, that's what a lot of people think about, is going out and seeing those homes. I will, on this side note, try to be as less emotional as possible about this. I realize that when you're going out and putting offers into a home, you can't put an offer on it unless you can see yourself living there, right? I just want to warn you that if you're lowballing, if there's lots of competition, if the sellers don't really want to sell the house, don't get your heart set on a home until you're under contract. And I would even suggest until you've had the inspection. Because when you go under contract, or when you're putting in offers and you're in love with a home, you might not get that home. So just something to think in mind is just check emotions if you can. I know it's really hard. But yeah, that's the next step, is house hunting. Okay, so you're house hunting, you put in an offer, it gets accepted, and this period is called your due diligence. So your due diligence is checking everything out, making sure everything is good to go. Once again, your realtor is going to have a lot more to say on the due diligence of the home, but you will get an inspection. An inspection is for you to make sure that the house is in working order. It's also a negotiation tool. If there's something wrong with the home, that during your due diligence period, you may be able to work on some negotiations. That's going to be with your realtor. That's also when we'll get your appraisal. So inspection is for you, appraisal is for the lender. Inspection is more about the how the home is functioning. Appraisal is more for the value, and it's based on other comparables. You have to order that through the lender. So we've already submitted your loan as a to be determined. You go under contract, then we get your full approval based on that property, and that is when we go ahead and order the appraisal. Both of those things are paid by credit card before closing. And then also during your due diligence, there's still underwriting. So even if we submit everything ahead of time and get as much of the loan done as we can ahead of time, there's still some things to update once we go under contract. So we'll still be working on the underwriting and stuff during your due diligence period. All right, so you're doing your due diligence, you've done inspection and appraisal. Once the loan is mostly done, we get something called a closing disclosure. So there's two documents to be aware of. There's a loan estimate, and that goes through what the loan's going to look like. And then there's a closing disclosure, and it confirms what the loan is going to look like. I actually have this on as a marker on our path to purchase because it really defines like, hey, this loan is done. And basically what that means is it's going to send out almost final figures. We don't have final figures until we know exactly what day we're closing, those kinds of things. But it sends everything out and says, hey, this is the loan you thought you had. This is the loan you do have. Are we good to go? And you acknowledge that and say, yep, we're good to go. And that starts the 3-day waiting period before we can sign. Sometimes those are out a couple of weeks before closing, and sometimes those are out a couple of days before closing, and we have to make sure it gets signed quickly. So just know that when that CD is out, that's a big, exciting, good news, and you want to hop in and acknowledge it as soon as possible. So once you have your closing disclosure out, you've done your due diligence, everything's good on the house, everything's good on the loan. My 3 favorite things are signing, funding, recording. It's yours. Signing is when you physically sign the documentation. Funding is when you send in your down payment, the lender sends their money, we pay off the seller, we pay off the seller's mortgage, and then they record it with the county. And when you record it with the county, that's when you become a homeowner. And I'm so excited to get you to that point. The other thing that you're going to think of as well is when you actually take possession and get keys, that's going to be a part of your contract. But typically it's upon recording that you own that home, and then your realtor will work with you in order to get you your keys. So that is how you become a homeowner, and that is your pathway to purchase a home. Once again, this is a very emotional process. I am so grateful that I get to help so many people through this path. I will tell you, and I will promise you, there will be bumps in the road. There just will. There's too many people involved, there's too many things changing, that things can change, and it won't always look perfectly in this perfect order every single time. But I can promise there may be things that come up, but I can also promise that I will hold your hand through the way. And as long as you have a great realtor and a great lender, you're gonna be good to go. Once again, you don't need to know everything about buying a home to buy a home. This is a good overview, but getting a great realtor and a great lender will take you through the whole process. I'm so excited for you to become a homeowner.